Family News on the Hour. I'm Chad Groening. Former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has been shot and, according to Japanese public broadcasting NHK, killed. Abe was attacked while campaigning Friday for his party ahead of national elections. Meanwhile, attending a G20 summit in Indonesia, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken offered his support.
Our thoughts, our prayers are with him, with his family, with the people of Japan. This is a very, very sad moment.
Abe, who's 67, stepped down in 2020 because he said a chronic health problem had resurfaced. Back on the home front, President Biden plans to take executive action on abortion today. Fox's Sean Langell reports from Washington.
Facing criticism from Democrats who say President Biden has not acted urgently enough to protect abortion rights, the president will sign an executive order that seeks to limit penalties on women who seek the procedure. These include instructing the Department of Health and Human Services to aid in making abortion medication more readily available, helping women cross state lines to access clinical abortions, and enhancing privacy protections for women who obtain abortion services. While the president has said his authorities are limited without congressional action, Republican lawmakers have praised the High Court's decision, saying it rightly returns authorities back to voters and individual states. In Washington, Sean Langell, Fox News.
Former President Trump rallies in Nevada on behalf of Republican nominees for governor and Senate. Fox's Kristen Goodwin has the details.
Former President Trump will deliver remarks at Treasure Island Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas tonight on what's being called the America First agenda. The former president's Save America PAC says he will speak at 6 p.m. local time following a panel discussion with endorsed candidates Clark County Sheriff Joe Lombardo, who is running for governor, and former Nevada Attorney General Adam Laxalt, who is running for Senate. Mr. Trump endorsing Lombardo and Laxalt during Nevada's primary. The event marks his first trip to the state to campaign in person for the GOP candidates. They face incumbent Democratic Governor Steve Sisolak and Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
San Francisco's mayor has appointed Brooke Jenkins the city's new district attorney after voters recalled Chesa Bodine for his progressive criminal justice policies. At the announcement of her appointment, Jenkins says she plans to focus on hate crimes against Asian Americans.
Our Asian community can no longer continue to live in fear of being attacked simply because of who they are as they go about their daily lives in this city. What we know about San Francisco is we are a city that is accepting of everyone.
She says she doesn't blame Boudin solely for the city's crime problem, saying the responsibility of public safety lies with all the people of San Francisco. Jenkins serves as the first Latina district attorney for that city. Canada may be required to get a COVID booster shot every 9 months. AFN's Chris Woodward has that story.
Speaking in a televised address, Canada's health minister said the virus evolves, and Omicron made us aware that we will never be fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
While you might have gotten infected, risk is high. You could get reinfected with all the downfall, including the risk of developing symptoms of long COVID. As health experts and physicians will tell you, it's critical that you go and get the shot that's waiting for you.
Twyla Brace of Minnesota-based Citizens Council for Health Freedom says this is a genetic material that is still experimental. And even the U.S. FDA in their emergency use authorizations requires research all the way up to 2027. So the fact that Canada wants to require this essentially every 9 months just shows to Brace that there is something going on here besides good health and good medical decisions. I'm Chris Woodward.
Remember, you can access American Family News by logging on to the World Wide Web at afn.net or by downloading the AFN app. And that is American Family News on the Hour. I'm Chad Groening.
Here at KNVBC, we're very grateful to the American Family Radio for allowing us to broadcast their Christian news free of charge. And we encourage you to listen to this brief word from AFA.
Where you get your news is incredibly important. It shapes your perspective of what's happening in America and beyond. The mainstream media outlets are very much driven by a worldview based on an anti-biblical, anti-Christian perspective. On the other hand, One News Now is a trusted news source that brings you conservative news from a biblical perspective. Check it out at onenewsnow.com. And while you're there, sign up for the One News Now Daily News Brief. onenewsnow.com.
Good morning. This is July the 11th.
Morning by morning, new mercies I see.
After that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, settle you. 1 Peter 5:10. You've seen the rainbow as it spans the plain. It's beautiful, but it passes away. The fair colors give way to fleecy clouds, and the sky is no longer brilliant with the tints of heaven. It's not established. How can it be? How can a glorious show made up of transitory sunbeams and passing raindrops remain? The graces of the Christian character must not resemble the rainbow in its transitory beauty. Seek, believer, that every good thing you have may be an established, settled thing. May your character not be a writing on the sand, but an inscription on the rock. Be rooted and grounded in love. May your whole life be so settled and established that all the blast of hell and all the storms of earth will never be able to remove you. Notice how this blessing of being established in the faith is gained. The apostles' words point us to suffering as the means employed, after that ye have suffered a while. It's of no use to hope that we will be well rooted if no rough winds pass over us. Do not shrink from the tempestuous winds of trial, but take comfort, believing that by their rough discipline, God is fulfilling this benediction to you.
Morning by morning, new mercies I see.
Join us each day at this time for Morning by Morning, Daily Devotionals by Charles Spurgeon, read by Brother Ed Russ.
This is the Langdon family from Garner, North Carolina. We love listening to KMVBC. We have it on 24/7. Keep up the good work.
With a heart for God and country, we're KNVBC.
of Egypt's bondage, looking for a place called Canaan land, knowing that deliverance was the promise that would come from God's own hand. Listening to the voice of a kindred prophet, believing that the time had now arrived. Walking through the gates of Pharaoh's city, you could hear God's chosen cry. I don't want to go back, I'm pressing on. Don't want to be a slave to him no longer. Living in the land of being captive now has passed. Oh, I found joy in the journey I'm on, headed to a place I'll soon call home. Now that I'm finally free from that, I don't want to go back.
Getting caught up in the snares of Satan, needing someone to set me free. Asking for help, I'd soon discover that the Lord would hear my plea. Holding to the hope and blessed assurance, making a decision to believe. Calling his name changed me forever. Now I'm free as free indeed.
Oh, I don't want to go back, I'm pressing on. Don't want to be a slave to him no longer. Living in the land of being captive now has passed. Oh, I found joy in the journey I'm on, headed to a place I'll soon call home.